Good morning and welcome to a pre-market review session with the market trader. My name's Ray, the market trader. And before we get started here, we need to review our risk disclosure. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and locate the risk disclosure. Okay, here we are. Okay, so just a reminder that the content is being provided by the market trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice or an offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk. And the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risks. Not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or past performance indicative of future results. All right. So now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the news here for a moment and see what we have in news today that has the potential to move markets. Okay. Good morning, Anthony Will. All right. Oops, not the one I wanted to do here. Let's just do this again. Share. We're going to do financial juice. There it is. All right. So this, and this. Okay. So taking a look at today's news. So we've had a couple of members speak here. We have the Michigan sentiment coming in at 10 a.m. today. Okay. Right. So 10 a.m. we have existing home sales also coming in at 10 a.m. And then let's see, we have, so existing home sales, quarterly employment and wages also coming in at 10 a.m. These are all kinds of things. I guess the biggest of these is probably the Michigan sentiment, and existing home sales are probably the top two as far as the potential of moving markets. And then we close out the day with some speaking engagements, okay, from our president, okay, and and that wraps up the day here, okay. So I would say fair amount of news here that could move the markets. So something to keep in mind here, especially at that 10 a.m. Eastern hour, okay. All right, let's go ahead now that we have a feel for the news that could come our way. Let's go ahead and take a look at the markets, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with the normal market, okay? Our normal market, I should say. All right, so we'll just go ahead and open this up here. Okay, so looking kind of at a higher time frame here to start. Now, again, guys, of late, you can see that we still remain in some sort of bullish in some sort of bullish structure here to the upside. I would say that of late, looking at these candles, right? They're not super directional, right? We have wicks on both ends of the candles. We closed out the day yesterday quite neutral with a small body candle with wicks on both ends. And what are we creating today? Well, we're creating a candle on the buying wick, right? So buying wick on the low end of the candle, but still very much inside, right, inside this bullish candle. Now, daily chart obviously is still indicating or showing signs of bullish, but I can't say, at least of late, that I'm all that impressed with the, I guess the momentum in that direction. Okay, seems like at least on the daily that we are slowing down now. Looking to the left and seeing, okay, well, is there anything that stands in our way? Well, here it is. Okay, 4,400 stands in our way, right? Market has not been able to get above 4,400, not even above 43.75, right? Every time we made an attempt here to get above 43.75, that has been met with some sort of set of sellers here. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at the 4-hour chart. All right, 4-hour chart here. Okay, there's that range that I was speaking of. Let's go ahead and turn off the initial balance range. Okay, so here's that range that we're talking about. Okay, now you can maybe entertain some sort of pattern here. I see some sort of consolidation pattern, some sort of triangle pattern that I'm seeing here, right? So some consolidation is underway, right? Okay, now the question is it going to be to the upside or is it going to be to the downside? We don't know the direction. What we do know is the magnitude of the move. Okay, so the move is going to be somewhere between let's see, 43.90 all the way down to 42. So it could be just probably measure it here, right? I do know that the move is going to be something in the magnitude of this, right? So it could be to the downside or it could lead us up to 44.80. Okay, that's the magnitude of this move here. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, so again, we have a market that's it looks at least on the higher time frame, it appears to be consolidating a bit. So we probably need to focus maybe a little bit more in the way of finding areas of resistance, finding extremes of ranges to really begin to really embrace or entertain an execution. Okay, so here we are on the 30-minute chart. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile. We're going to compare yesterday's price action with today's price where price is today. Okay, and you can see that we are very much inside the range from yesterday, indicating that there's a fair amount of balance trading going on in the gold market as we speak. Okay, anytime we're inside a balance area, we have to kind of respect the fact that maybe they're not necessarily any aggressive buyers or sellers in this market at the moment. Okay, so we've come up into this area at 43.65. Again, it stands to reason here that we would find some sellers, right? We've had some sellers here in the past. Price now has come to this area and we've gotten a little bit of reaction. Okay, so I would say that it's important, whoever these set of buyers were, I guess during the overnight, we have a fair amount of overnight longs, okay, in the market, right? We'll take a look at that when we kind of compare initial balance ranges across the various markets here. But you can see that we have a fair amount of buyers here. Now, where did price stall? Well, it stalled in an area where we've seen sellers in the past, right? So the question now becomes, is this just going to be another leg, right? Another leg to the opposite side of this range? Quite possible, okay? Would not be out of the realm of possibility that we do that, because the market does appear to be in some sort of range or consolidation. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance ranges. We're going to compare the initial balance ranges across the various markets here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and modify this to Asia to start. Okay, so Asia initially was bearish, right? We got a nice little move here to the downside, all the way down to maybe the 150% extension. Okay, before it found some buyers. Right, we've seem to have found some buyers, but the problem is it still feels like we are inside bearish control, because we have yet to make a new high. Right, The moment we think that, oh, okay, the bulls are in control, sellers have stepped in. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the Asia session, not Asia, but London, and see what London's been able to do. Well, you see that we've gotten a very nice extension to the upside. Okay, candle. Now the question becomes: is price going to be able to remain above 43.60? Now 43.60 seems to have been a level that we've been monitoring of late. Okay, in this market, 43.60 seems to ring a bell here. So we've broken above it. Okay, we've broken above this level. Now the question is going to be, can price remain above 43.60? Because if it does, then that would give us maybe the view that the market could rally from that point, okay, up to maybe the highs, okay. Maybe making another attempt at 43.70, and then maybe return to maybe make another attempt here at the highs. Now, Now, if price closes back inside or even breaks below VWAP, then I would say that opens the door for price to continue to the downside. Okay, based on price action. So as I head into the gold market, I would have to say that I'm coming into a market that is in some sort of range. I'm going to need to let the session, kind of give me some additional information here to really decide, or really be able to decide to participate in this market, right? So, like I said, if we are in some sort of range, we need to focus in on the extremes of these ranges. 43.40 here on the downside would be a logical place, for an extreme where we could on the long side and look to maybe buy. And then we're at a level now, right, where we could see price, kind of initiate a range kind of swing to the downside. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the initial balance range that is developing as we speak. Okay, so we're looking at this range now, relatively narrow range, but like I said, we still have some news in the horizon, right? So this right here could be waiting for this news to percolate through the markets here at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so we could stay in the relatively tight range, okay, until that news event. Okay, so as you know, what I'm going to be looking for, right? I'm going to be looking for some extension of the initial balance range to help me decide which direction do I want to take this market. Do I get a break? Do I get a break of this candle to the downside or to the upside? And do I get maybe an early indication, maybe with this 15-minute candle, a 30-minute candle, right? So we'll go ahead and open up the 15-minute candle here now. Do I get an early indication as to which direction they want to take this market with the 15-minute candle? On the 15-minute candle could also serve as a some indication as to which direction they want to take this market. Okay. All right. With that said, we'll go ahead and move into the crude oil market. Okay, crude oil market looks like it's gotten a little bit of a bid here. Let's take a look at the daily. All right, so daily, what looks like we got to a level here down at 55, and now looks like we've kind of maybe garnered some interest. Now we did close a bearish candle yesterday. But now we have a developing bullish candle in a market that's still very much bearish. Okay, so again, I'm going to be drawing my little channel here, right, just to kind of monitor the progress of this. See if I get the right angle on this. Something along these kind of lines, right? So this might not be the day, right, because this candle is still developing. But I'll be looking to see if I do indeed get a candle to close above this channel, and that could maybe offer me, a leg that would lead me higher. Okay, something along those lines. But I do have some interference in front of me. Even if I am long, there is some resistance. Starting with 58 all the way up to 62. So this area right here will certainly offer some resistance to any sort of bullish price action that we're able to achieve in the crude oil market. Okay. Looking to the left, I see that 56 has been an area of support in the past. Okay. And it continues to be supportive. All right. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. Okay. We'll go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. And you can see, what are we creating? Well, it looks like we're creating a little bit of a demand zone here, right? So this is classic kind of price action that we'd like to see if we're looking to entertain a long, right? Price came down to a low, rallied. They made an attempt to continue the downward move, and looks like this 55.70, 55.65 has now served as some sort of area of support here. Okay, an area of demand, right? So as long as price is unable to close inside or below 55, we have to err on the side of the bulls, okay, on the 4-hour. And especially so if we are able to get above 56.75, because I think if we are able to get above 56.75, then let's say take a look at settlement here. We'll take a look at settlement here on the 30-minute. Okay. So it looks like settlement. Where is settlement? Let's turn off my drawings. Our settlement, where price is above our settlement price. Okay. So a lot of indication of bullish behavior here in the moment, right? You can see that price is above our VWAP, above our 9 EMA, above settlement, and working its way above this 56.40, which has been a resistance zone in the past. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw in this area of support, right? So again, 56.40, if it does manage to hold above that, that could offer me a location, right? Could offer me a location that could serve as a little bit of a springboard, right? A little bit of a springboard for further price action to the upside. Okay, something along those lines. Okay, let's take a look now at the fixed range volume profile and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So we're going to start with the open of the session and work our way to the close of the session. And you can see right at that little line of support that I drew, this we have a value area high here at 56.40. Okay, 56.40 seems to be an area of some support here. Okay, so it not only serves as a kind of a natural area of resistance, that is now supportive. We have value area high at that location. All right, now we've gone kind of parabolic at the moment here, right? Looks like this move is being supported by some volume here. Okay, now let's go ahead now and take a look at the initial balance ranges, and let's see what the initial balance range. I suspect that there's a fair amount of longs in this market. Okay, let's take a look at Asia. Okay, so Asia really wasn't a little bit of indecision on Asia here. Really didn't offer much in the way of direction. Okay, it took a peak below, took a peak above, but really couldn't garner the participants necessary to drive the market. Okay, unlike London. Okay, London, it was very clear as to which direction they want to take this market. Okay, we got a nice break of the initial balance range here to the upside. Didn't really, maybe offered us a small little pullback to maybe that would offer us maybe something in the way of to be able to participate in this market. But you can see that London is quite bullish on this market, right? So I have a couple of levels here, right? I have 56.40. I have my 56, okay, which is settlement. Okay, these are I would say a couple of areas where I can manage my risk. Okay, that would provide some interest to the long side. Okay, so while the market on the higher time frame is beginning maybe to show some signs of strength, I would say that headed into the session, I think I'm I'll be looking to see. I'll be looking to see what kind of price action I do end up getting here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move this to the current session, which I believe is going to open here in about 4 minutes. Okay. So our initial balance range is going to establish here in a bit. So again, so headed into this session, I would have to say that I'm kind of leaning on the bullish side in this market. I'm going to be looking to see how price reacts around this 5680 level, because that could be a natural area of some resistance here, right? Because we see that we've had some sellers here in the past. But if we are able to get above, again, above 5680, then I would say that we have the opportunity to get to some of these highs here. Okay, if we can get above 5680, I think that opens the door for possibly 58. Okay. All right. So like I said, headed into the session, I would say that I probably haven't said this term in a bit, but I am seeing maybe a market that might be changing a little bit in the way of sentiment. Okay, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this continued price action, what kind of continued price action we get with the open of the session here. But we are starting to see some signs of maybe some bullish behavior here. Okay. All right. With that said, and before we move on to the equity markets, I see that my like indicator is a little bit on the light side with respect to likes. So I'm going to kind of put on my marketing hat and encourage folks to, if you find that this this analysis is benefiting you in understanding the markets, I would encourage you to hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, as Sinclair has mentioned here, I'm only about 5 subscribers away. Okay, only 5 subscribers away from reaching the 1K mark. Okay, for this channel. So I definitely want to thank. Yeah, I definitely want to thank those folks who have supported me. Right. Okay. So in any case, with that said, let's go ahead and 5 stars. Thank you. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to the equities. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the stars. All right. Let's see. Yes, Marie's a large part of where I am today with respect to marketing me and encouraging folks to participate. So let's see. Hey, Camilla. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the NQ. All right, we'll take a look at the NQ because that's the market of choice, I think, for most here. So what is the NQ doing? Okay, well, if you've attended my my appearance on Top Step TV yesterday, I had mentioned that maybe there was some sort of I don't know if it was the ES or the NQ, but I see kind of a little bit of a head and shoulder pattern here, right? This being the oops. Right, this being an area here, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? I don't know, a kind of a crude head and shoulder pattern. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, so head appears to be some sort of head and shoulder pattern developing here in the on the daily chart in the NASDAQ. Okay. Taking a look at so I mean it does appear that we are in some sort of range at the moment, right? We had some activity here at tail end of November, okay, that would maybe cause us to think that maybe we were going to head higher, but then looks like the Scrooge has made somewhat of an appearance here and kind of driven price to the downside. And we really obviously have not really been able to make too much headway, right? Too much headway in on the bullish side, right? Every attempt that we've made here, maybe outside of this last candle here, right? So we closed the day yesterday with a bullish candle, and right now so far it appears that we are developing a little bit of a way of another bullish candle. I would say that we obviously need to get above this 25,400, okay, in order to really kind of embrace. But I will say that it does appear that maybe it's building maybe a little bit of momentum for that to take place here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. So 4-hour chart looks a little bit cleaner here to me initially as I look at this, right? So here we are. Okay, so we have this kind of series of bearish candles here, right? So I would say that we're still a little bit in bearish control until we are able to get above, say, 25,500. Okay, I would say the 25,500 is kind of the marker that we need to kind of worry about in this market. Okay, if we are going to kind of restore, if we're looking for maybe a Santa rally, obviously we need to see if we can get above this 25,500 level. Okay. Otherwise, I see a market that's in some sort of range, right? So 25,500 on the upside, and then on the bottom we have 24,900. That's kind of the range that we've been we have been in of late. Okay, as I mentioned, I think in one of our prior sessions, one of the things that where we can figure out whether or not we're in range or not, can I contain price in a box? Well, this is pretty much price contained in the box, right? So if I can contain price in the box, it means that I am dealing with a market that is in some sort of range. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. We'll take a look at the 30-minute chart. You can see again that we are in some sort of range price action here. Okay. We had some sort of wedge pattern. I see if I draw this. Let's see. Right. This is the wedge pattern that I was referring to. Okay. And the reason I'm choosing this series is that I have more candles to work with. Okay. Right. Rather than going with just a single touch, I'm trying to get as many touches here. Right. Right. Instead of moving this candle down to here, right? I'm going with a series of candles where I get more touches. Okay. And that's giving me, maybe an early indication, right? That the market maybe is looking to maybe continue to the downside. Now, we obviously need to get below 25,210 because we see that there's been some buyers here in the past. Okay. It'll be interesting to see. I do see that we are maybe developing a little bit of a demand zone around that level between 25,200 and 25,300. Okay. But again, it does appear that we are in some sort of range. Okay. So let's take a look here at the fixed range volume profile. Let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. All right. We'll take a look here at the close. All right. And so what is this telling you? Well, it looks like we are inside some sort of range, right? There's a bit of balance going on with the price action as we speak. I would say an important level for the bulls to continue, if they are going to come up here, is that they need to get above this 25,350, 25,345, because I am seeing a little indication here, at least, right, that maybe there are some bullish participants, maybe potentially, entering this market here. Okay. I see price above our kind of relatively flat EMA. Okay. VWAP, right? And then I also see price below our 9 EMA. So until price can get above both those levels, I would say that obviously the path of least resistance appears to be lower. Okay. If we start to see price closing above our 9 and above our VWAP, then it does open up the door for me to see for the potential of further price action to the upside. Okay. Right. That's the possibility here. Right. So that's kind of what we're seeing on the from the fixed range volume profile. Let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance. Let's go ahead and start off with the Asia market and see what Asia was able to do with this market, and they were able to rally the market. Okay, so you can see here it offered us a very nice IB extension move, right? You got a nice push to the upside, kind of a grinding move back to IB high. Okay, got a grinding move back to IB high, and what did it find? It found more buyers, right? So here we are on the pullback, found some more buyers and rallied the market to 200% of this initial balance range, right? This being our initial balance. We get our extension, we get our pullback, and off we go. Now, London looks like is maybe a little bit mixed, right? London may not be on the same page, right? For whatever move Asia made, London has now retraced. Okay, right? Whatever move London made, Asia has now retraced. Okay, so the question now becomes, with the U.S. Opening up here in about 20 some odd minutes, are we going to continue in range? Okay, are we going to continue in range? Are we going to follow Asia's path, indicating that any sort of pullback in this area is going to cause buyers to potentially step back into this market? Okay, but in order for that to take place, as I mentioned, we need to get above the 9 EMA, and we need to get above or inside the initial balance range for London in order for price to have the chance of revisiting 25,400. Okay, so I do see with these wicks. Now I do see wicks on both ends, but this candle in particular is catching my attention. You see how this candle is reacting away from VWAP. Okay, again, that's kind of catching my attention, indicating that there is maybe a little bit of a demand of this market here around this area. Okay, I'm going to be watching to see if price can get above this initial balance low, okay, from London, and maybe possibly offer us an opportunity that would lead us back to the highs. Okay, if it's unable to get inside the initial balance range, well, you know what I'm going to say, then it opens up the door for a possibility of a move in the opposite direction. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. So Nasdaq right now, I think does appear to be in some sort of range. We had again a mixed bag of activity. Asia drove it higher. London has since driven it to the downside, and now it appears that as we head into the U.S. session, that there is a little bit of interest, okay, to take this market back higher. But again, I'm going to be watching this 25,340 level. Okay, that level right there, the IB low from London, is going to be kind of a line in the sand there to kind of determine what's the general sentiment that the folks have in this market here. Okay, I don't seem to have it here, but I was going to take a look. We have settlement down below. Okay, so price is above settlement. So yeah, a lot of indications right now that are beginning to show signs of maybe bullish price action as we head into the session here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the ES here. We'll start off with the daily. Okay, so here we are. The moment we think that maybe we are starting to get some sellers into this market. We had a market that closed bullish. Okay, but that doesn't negate the fact that we are still very much in some sort of range here. Okay, so having some difficulty getting above 6,900 is very evident to me. That 6,900 is an area of resistance in this market. So we'll go ahead and draw a horizontal line, or maybe even a range here. Maybe find my box tool here. It probably seems more appropriate. Okay, this appears to be kind of the area of some resistance to price at the moment. So I'll go ahead and mark this area, right? So as long as price is not able to get above 6,900, then I would say that opens the door, right, for price to, right, possibly the longer it stays here without making a new high, the greater the likelihood that is that we run out of buyers, and eventually the auctioneer or the market maker we'll have to market this market lower to attract more buyers. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, similar kind of view. Seems like we are in some sort of range, as we mentioned in the Nasdaq. I think the same kind of price action is evident. You can see that we are seeing some signs of late of some bullish price action, but even with this bullish price action, it doesn't negate the fact that we are still inside what appears to be bearish control here, right? I have a ominous kind of resistance area above me, right? Right, and we reacted away from it. Okay, and now we're back at that same level again. Now the question is, are we going to garner the same set of participants to drive price, I guess, away from the current direction, right, and continue to the downside? Okay, I would say that this pullback does appear maybe a little bit deeper than I would expect. Okay, if sellers were indeed in control, they wouldn't necessarily let the market get so deep into their candle there, right? So that gives us some evidence that maybe there is some momentum building, possibly to the upside. Okay, but we need to obviously get above 68.80. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. We're looking at the 30-minute chart. You can see that price is reacting to some degree away from settlement, right? That offers us a nice logical location, maybe to potentially entertain something here, right? We got to move to the upside. Looks like we exhausted buyers, came back, found some more buyers. Okay, so now the question is, do we have the market participants? And we've already kind of broken, right? I think, let's see. Yeah, we're in the process of breaking, I'd just say, the market to the upside. We'll have to see how this current candle closes, but that does open us to the possibility of the market maybe continuing to the upside. Okay, so let's take a look now at the fixed range volume profile. Let's compare where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. Okay, so you can see, again, similar to what we were saying about the Nasdaq, price is inside value from the prior range, indicating some sort of balance between buyers and sellers. Really not an aggressive buyers or sellers taking place here at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and extend a couple of levels here. I'm going to extend the value area high. That's going to be an interesting area for me on the resistance side, and then on the supportive side, I would say 6,800, but 6,820. Right. So those are going to be a couple of areas that I'm going to be watching. Okay. Because right now we are smack in the middle of those two ranges. Okay. From the high and from the low. Not necessarily an area where I want to participate in this market. I'd like to see maybe more conviction in one direction or the other. But I do see that maybe that, we are making a series of higher highs and higher lows here at the moment. That maybe the market is maybe building up some momentum for maybe a further upside move here. Okay. All right. Let's compare the initial balance ranges across the various markets. We'll take a look at Asia to start with and see what Asia was able to offer us. Okay. So Asia late offered us a nice extension to the upside. It came back, retested the initial balance that was established in Asia. And so far, it looks like we found some more buyers. Taking a look at London. All right, London here. All right, so London actually managed to take the market lower, but was not able to sustain lower. Kind of a failed auction, kind of developing here on the London session. So assuming that this candle is able to close inside this range, then that it's given us confidence that maybe we are going to revisit the highs of the range. Okay, 68.50 at least, the initial balance high. Okay, so we'll have to wait and see how this candle closes here in the next 15 minutes or so. Looks like maybe we even got a 15-minute candle to close inside the range. We sure did. Okay, so now the question becomes, do we get the momentum, right? Do we get the momentum for maybe a move to the upside here? Okay, just kind of trying to stretch out this these volume delta bars to give me kind of a visibility as to the strength of the move. Okay. All right. So similar to the NASDAQ, it does appear that maybe a market that is ranging to bullish. Okay. Right. Kind of what I'm seeing right now, right? I'm seeing that the channel is breaking to the upside. Sure. Right. So again, as long as price remains right in this upward channel, then we have to kind of err on the side of the bulls. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the Dow. All right. See what the Dow is saying. Okay. In this aspect, we'll take a look at the daily. A daily, again, you can see that the market is in some sort of consolidation range, right? Maybe a tad, I would say, showing some signs of weakness here at the highs here around 48,800, 48,850, showing maybe some signs of weakness. We have a 9 EMA that's maybe losing a little bit of momentum to the downside. Our bullish candles aren't really making a strong push inside any of these candles. They're remaining on the lower end of these candles, right? So is that an indication that maybe there's some possibility of some downside? Certainly. Okay. So again, I'm going to be kind of monitoring, this channel here to the upside, right? As long as it remains inside this channel, well, I have to err on the side of the bulls. The moment I start to see price break below this channel, then I'm going to use the bottom end of this channel to maybe offer me a further opportunity to the downside. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off the initial balance range here for a moment. You can see that we're inside that channel that I drew on the daily, but it is a market that's a bit on the choppy side, right? So you're seeing a lot of overlap in price action here at the moment. So really hard to say which direction, right, based on this chop, other than the fact that we are in a larger bullish channel to the upside. Okay. If I'm bullish, obviously I need to see price get above 48,550. If I'm bearish, well, I want to see price get below 48,150 and ultimately below 48,000 itself. Okay. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay. Looking at the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off our indicators here for a moment, and we're going to compare to see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action in general here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and start with this and then close with this and see. Okay. Well, we are at the lower end of the range, right? We did during the, tail end of the session yesterday, the close, we managed to continue lower before we found some buyers. Looks like in the London session, relatively flat in Asia, right? Relatively flat in Asia to lower. And then once we got to London, looks like we found some buyers here. So let's take a closer look at that. All right. So taking a look at Asia, you can see that the market initially was lower, got to the 200% extension, and what do we find at the 200% extension? We found some buyers. And we've been somewhat bullish ever since, right? So actually, right, I take that back here a little bit. So we had a bullish move. We did extend the range, but we were unable to sustain the range to the upside. So the bulls are not necessarily the strongest, but they did manage to hold above the 9 EMA so far. Okay, so the question now becomes: are we able to break above 48,350? If so, then I would say that we have a possibility of heading higher here. Okay. Right. So again, I'm kind of drawing my channels here. That's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. If we are not able to get above 48,350, then I see a market that either going to stay in some sort of range today or possibly move in the opposite direction. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for the Dow. Let's take a quick peek across, one last look across all the markets, and then maybe we'll take a look at the gold here. I'm at the silver. Okay. So we'll start with look at the day session here and see what kind of candles we're developing here. So we have relatively narrow range right up against settlement. We had just completed a bearish candle here. Okay. So now the question becomes, is this an indication that we are going to see a move like this? Okay. Right. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Okay. I see that I'm in a bullish channel, but it's not necessarily the strongest of bullish channels. A lot of overlap. So is this merely a retracement that's going to cause the market to maybe head lower? Okay. So I would say neutral to maybe slightly bearish in the gold. Okay. Crude oil. Right. So it's really hard to embrace these longs on the crude oil. Okay. But again, we do have a fair number of buyers. Okay. In this market, we've reached a level where we could find some sellers, and we're starting to see some signs that maybe sellers have started to kind of step back into this market. Could provide us, assuming that this candle closes as bearish as it is, then this could potentially offer us maybe an opportunity. Certainly, if price closes below our 9 EMA, that could be the catalyst that would maybe causes price to continue to and maybe revisit 55.70 below us here. Okay. Taking a look at the equities, I think the equities overall are showing some signs of bullish price action here. We have a developing a bullish candle here coming up to the highs here at 25,400. Okay. If we do manage to get above that, I would say that there's a reasonable chance that we could extend. Okay. That the mouth of this triangle pattern, right? There's the mouth of this triangle pattern that I'm referring to. Maybe that offers us something in the way of a move. All right. Santa comes to town, right? Okay. Yes. Similar kind of thing. Okay. Again, we have the mouth of this. I'm just going to do a kind of a crude drawing here, kind of the mouth of this pattern here, right? That could lead us, right? Could lead us to this resistance zone above us again, 6,900, and then the Dow. Last but not least, also giving us some indications that maybe there is some more upside, right? So I would say across the board. Gold looking a little bit weak. Crude oil, bullish of late. Range in general, and then equities maybe showing some signs here of some bullish price action. Okay, so we'll close out the session here with a review of silver. I know there's a fair number of silver traders in the room. I think I saw Michael's name here appear here at least one time. Okay. All right, let's take a look here at the silver. All right, so market has been quite strong, okay, to the upside. You can see that there's our 9 EMA here on the daily. We continue to staircase our way to the upside. So daily is quite strong. 4 hour, probably not as strong, maybe a little bit in range of late. Okay, so you see that we have some, kind of price is in some sort of range, extended range. Okay, right now. Okay, so not so strong on the 4 hour. Taking a look at the 30-minute, exhibiting the same kind of behavior that we were seeing on the on the 4 hour. We're seeing wicks on both ends of the candles. Okay. So a little bit of indecision as to where they want to potentially take this market here at the moment. Okay. I do see that price is above my VWAP. So as long as price remains above my VWAP, I have to kind of continue looking at the possibility for a continued move here to the upside, right? As long as price remains above, right? But I am seeing a little bit of weakness in this market, right? So the attempts that we've made to maybe take this market higher has so far been met with some sellers here. Okay. Let's take a look at maybe the developing initial balance. Maybe we just take a look here. So looks like Asia was higher. Let's take a peek here at London. Okay. London looks like it's maybe inside some sort of range. Yeah. London is inside some sort of range. Asia was definitely bullish on this market. London, not so much. Okay. So it'll be interesting as we head into the New York session, which direction that they plan on taking this market. I'm not really liking the current price action with the wicks on both ends of the candle. I'd like to see the market get into some sort of more definitive direction before I entertain anything. So, but as long as price remains above VWAP, I would say that I would have to err maybe on the side of the bulls. Okay. But it is a little bit concerning to me that I'm seeing selling wicks. Okay, that could cause the market to fail. Okay, lower. All right. Okay, so I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today on a Friday leading up to a weekend. Okay, so if there are any questions, happy to entertain them. Otherwise, I'm going to encourage you to, leave a comment or two, talk to your neighbor, maybe your aspiring neighbor who maybe wants to become a day trader, to encourage him to maybe subscribe. I think I'm only about 5 subscribers, if based on last count, away from reaching my goal of 1,000 subscribers. So again, thanks to those who made that happen. And as Anther will, well, 4. So I secured one more. So as Anther is encouraging you, I encourage you to hit the likes, right? Hit the likes, leave me a comment or two, encouraging me to, to continue to forge ahead in providing this content for you guys. Okay. All right. And with that, we'll go ahead and close off this session. Okay, as we normally do, and that is trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Okay, have an excellent day today trading, and we'll talk again early next week. All right, and okay.